here is the problem the Republican Party has. The American people find them extreme. No questions about it. In fact, I'm actually surprised at how large this number is. When they ask Americans, what percentage of you do you think, or do you think the Republican Party is too extreme? Not, I don't agree with them, not they're doing the wrong thing at this point, too extreme. Well, I mean, look, you're going to get 25% of the country that says Republicans are too extreme all the time. Those are your progressives, liberals, et cetera. They're clearly in that corner, right? You know, if they're doing poorly, 30%, 35%, but that's a big chunk of the country, over a third of the country, to say they're too extreme. Well, what did the poll show? It's a CNN ORC poll. 53% of the country says that the Republican Party is too extreme. That's a majority of the country. Let me do some simple math for you. That is above half. When you've got over half the country think you're extremists, your party might be in a little bit of trouble. You might want to put some thought behind that. In fact, even 22% of Republicans thought the Republican Party was too extreme. Now, you might think, well, look, they probably say that about both parties. Wrong again, Bob. 57% say the Democrats are mainstream. Now, mainstream is a very pleasant word, generally speaking, in politics. So 57% of the country says, wow, those guys, mainstream, right down the middle. The other guys, 53% extremists. Those are horrible numbers for the Republicans. Now, how about Republicans on the issue of raising taxes? Because look, forget the country. We've told you about the country. Overwhelmingly, 3/4 of the country says raise taxes on the rich, people making above $250,000. They just said it in the election, if that wasn't clear enough. It was a landslide, by the way. President Obama got 332 electoral votes. Romney barely broke 200. So it wasn't close, right? But here's the interesting part. They asked Republicans, would you like to raise tax on the rich if it means that we don't go over the fiscal cliff? 61% of Republicans said raise taxes. My God, how little support do you have? Oh, the Republicans are in a world of trouble. So who's going to ride to the rescue? You got it, the Democrats. So now, in the midst of their so-called grand bargain negotiations, President Obama has all the advantages and the leverage. He won the election. He could let all the tax cuts expire on January 1st. They're all gone, and then you could reinstitute the tax cuts for people making under $250,000. So easy, so easy. He's got 8 other advantages, but nonetheless, the Democrats love to give away the queen. I already told you over the last couple of days that President Obama has said that he would actually cut Social Security, and he wouldn't even raise taxes on people making above $250,000. He moved that number up to $400,000. Why negotiate against yourself like this? Because, of course, as I've told you numerous times, he wants to lose. He agrees with the Republicans. He doesn't really want to tax his rich friends that much. And most importantly, they're his donors. And he wants to take it away from the poor and the middle class so that he can be called post-partisan. And what a wonderful statesman he is for taking it out on the poor. Wow, how strong. But we were told, no. The Democrats in the House and in the Senate and the progressive groups in the country, well, they'll fight back against this grand larceny. So Nancy Pelosi, the leader of the Democrats in the House, what does she think about this chain CPI? That's the way of cutting Social Security. She says, quote, I consider it a strengthening of Social Security. So understand why that quote, that simple quote, is so devastating. Because she's not only agreeing with the Republicans, saying, okay, you win, all right, we'll cut Social Security, but she's using their frame, and she's making their argument for them, that cutting Social Security doesn't actually cut it, it strengthens it. But why would you make their argument for them? Even if at the last second, in order to get a deal, I wouldn't do it, but let's say you thought, I got no choice, the Republicans are absolutely demanding this, I got to do some sort of compromise, etc. All right, fine, I'll do it, but you say, God damn Republicans, they cut your Social Security, but we had to have a deal, right? Why would you, in the middle of negotiations, come out and say that cutting Social Security, which is what the Democratic Party theoretically has been against for how many decades now, it actually strengthens Social Security? Because the Democrats are in on it. They can't wait to cut Social Security. Cutting this chain CPI takes away $1,200 on average from every American. You put into it your whole life. They're going to take that away. If you're on Social Security for 30 years, $28,000 they take out of your pocket and they give it to the rich. And when Nancy Pelosi's asked, it strengthens Social Security. How come they never want to strengthen defense like this? When it's a cut of defense, oh, no, that would terribly weaken our national security. When you cut Social Security, oh, well, that would strengthen it. Oh, screw you. Because that's exactly what you want to do to us. You both want to screw us over. Nancy Pelosi now is officially completely in on it. I mean, Boehner got embarrassed today, goes up for a vote on his stupid-ass Plan B, and can't even bring it up for a vote because nobody's going to vote for it. And they help him out by saying, oh, you're right, cutting Social Security is such a wonderful idea. Now, how about labor leaders? I mean, those are strong progressive groups. They're going to fight back, right? I mean, oh, those are the tough guy labor guys, right? Yeah. You're not going to get a day. And man, they have been adamant all along. They're not going to let anybody cut Social Security. Richard Trumka, AFL-CIO president, quote, I want to see more of the details, but we oppose the cuts. We'll oppose the cuts. We will be talking to them about a number of things. Obviously, I want to look at the whole deal before we make any decision. Now, look, this is where you need me to decode this. Because it seems like Trumka is saying, oh, yeah, no, well, look, I oppose the cuts. No. I oppose the cuts is under no circumstance. No, we're not going to do that. We would fight it tooth and nail. We would be against the deal. There's very clear ways of saying it, and they know how to. When they say, well, I want to see more of the details, and it depends on the package, that's basically Trumka saying, yeah, go ahead and do it. So Labor's in on it. The Democrats are in on it. Obviously, Boehner's in on it. The Republicans are in on it. They're going to rob you no matter what. It doesn't matter what you voted for, what you think you voted for. It doesn't matter what group you're part of. They're going to pick your pocket. By the end of this grand bargain, Social Security, Medicare will be cut, and they will have not increased the taxes like they said they would on people making above $250,000. They won't. Like Obama's already over, and Democrats already say, yeah, great, 400,000. You think they won't move the 400,000? Very likely they'll move it to 500,000. And by the way, little corporate tax cut on top. So it turns out the rich get everything they wanted anyway, and we pay the bill. They call this shared sacrifice. Which part are you sharing? Remember in 2010, as part of the so-called recovery, the top 1% got 93% of the gains. 93%. Now, when it comes to the pain, though, the gain goes 93% to them. When it comes to the pain, it goes 93% to us. That's how this grand larceny works. And it's grotesque.